Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you do not know me, my name is Danielle and I have 3 children and I live in Germany. I am from America, but I live in Germany. Today we're going to mix it up from the cultural videos a bit. I thought today we would dive into a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and that is what I preferred in terms of finding out the sex of my babies. Now, I've kind of experienced everything under the sun. Like, I literally even have something that's in between finding out and not finding out. And I thought I'd just share my experiences with you, like all 3, and then I would just give you guys, I guess, my experience and takeaway from the whole thing, and let you guys know if I were to have a 4th child, what route I would take and which one I preferred. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my first pregnancy. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was pretty sure that having a surprise gender is what I wanted. I had a lot of fantasies about this moment of the baby being born, and I was pretty sure that I was going to have a girl, and I would have sort of like these dreams, reoccurring dreams, but also reoccurring sort of daily visualizations, and I had it like pictured so vividly in my head, and I was pretty adamant that that is what I wanted. And that's pretty much how it carried on throughout most of the pregnancy. Most of my pregnancy vlogs, I was like, yeah, we're not going to find out. And literally probably a week before the anatomy scan is when I started like umming and ahhing about it. I think with your first, it's just really hard to be patient. I think that you just want everything. Like, I was just counting down the days until she got there. It was definitely more so like that in my first pregnancy than any of my others. I was definitely the most impatient about finding out. I wanted to go shopping, and I'm not super stereotype, you know, pink and blue for boys and girls, but I kind of like the idea of kind of having an idea of what my future was, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was a very visual person. I was visualizing the birth. I was visualizing just like what was all ahead, and I just wanted to have an idea of if I was going to have a son or daughter all of the sudden. I also had a lot of opinions from friends and family. They really wanted to know. They were not for the idea of waiting. They were all super impatient, so I definitely had a lot of opinions kind of swaying me in the direction to what I ended up coming up with in that vlog.
Hey you guys, so today is the big day. It's currently 9:03 in the morning, so in like less than half an hour I'm going to be on the bus getting ready to go. I'm so excited. We had planned on plan A, B, or C, and we have decided to go with C.
I decided to go in and just be like, okay, if we find out, that's really exciting, and if we don't find out, then that's just what's meant to be. So when we arrived, I was super nervous about the whole thing. I think the thing that was running through my mind the most was just hoping everything was going to be okay. Of course, that's like your first thought process when you go to the anatomy scan. You definitely just want to have a healthy baby, so that was like the first thing. So once they sort of checked all those things out, and I noticed like you could totally see like the little legs like up there, and I was like, oh man, here we go. And part of me like kind of changed thought process into thinking maybe it was a boy in that moment, just because I had seen the baby's profile and the baby just looked so much like my partner. So that's what made me assume like, oh, it's probably a boy. But then sure enough, I hear the ultrasound tech say,
dass ich ein Mädchen sehe.
Mädchen. Oh my god.
You can't really see it yet, but
Ich sehe auch die Schamlippen auch.
So you just don't see the penis? Or...
Nee, ich sehe die Schamlippen.
Okay.
Die Vulva, das sehe ich schon. Also wenn, dann muss ich das richtige Geschlecht sehen. Nicht, das ist keine Ausschlussdiagnose.
ja, ist es ja nie.
Nee. Wenn ich keinen Penis sehe, ist es ein Mädchen, so mache ich es nicht.
Okay.
Mädchen, and that means girl in German. I was just so happy, and part of me was like, I totally knew it. I totally called it. I was actually in shock of like how much I felt like it was the right decision to find out the sex, because like I just had chills all over my body, and I was just so excited for the pregnancy ahead. From that point on, I was like so excited to start the shopping and pick a name and a nursery theme that's more specific, you know what I mean? And I just got into like full on like plan mode, and I was just so happy. I truly deep down felt like it was the right decision to find out. All right, so fast forward to baby number 2. So since I did not have the patience to wait with my first, I thought I want to wait with my second. I had a very strong notion throughout the whole pregnancy, even up until the ultrasound, that I did not want to find out the sex of baby number 2, and I told the doctor, I told her not to say anything. By the way, I have this strong feeling that I referred to the doctor as the ultrasound tech in the past clip. She was not. She was a doctor. Actually, only doctors are allowed to perform ultrasounds. I don't know why I said ultrasound tech. Sorry about that. Just scratch it if I did. So I tell the doctor I absolutely do not want to know the sex. If you happen to end up in between the legs, like, just tell me to look away. And she was a lovely, lovely doctor. Probably my favorite gynecologist out of any gynecologist I've ever had. But she was really, really bad about this. So there was actually 2 instances where I was like, not 100, but like 80 to 90% sure that I saw the sex of the baby, and I saw the legs. She didn't tell me to look away. I saw the 3 lines. I had done so much pre-research with my daughter Olivia before we went into the ultrasound. I looked at girl parts, boy parts. I just became very, very good at figuring it out, and plus ultrasounds are so super duper clear these days. I saw those 3 lines and I was like, sister. On top of it, the gynecologist kept calling the baby a she. My husband didn't think anything of it, and he doesn't know how to read ultrasound at all, so he just like brushed it off. He was just like, whatever. In terms of how I felt about that, I definitely did not like that experience. I can tell you, finding out by accident when you don't want to know is really weird. And I also had such a strong feeling in the pregnancy that she was going to be a boy, so it took like a little bit of time to readjust my thought process, because I had sort of visualized her being a little boy. And I'm not really sure if that was my intuition talking or just sort of this whole like notion that a lot of people have when you have a girl. Time for a boy. Doesn't always work like that. So it just took a little bit of time sort of rewiring. It's like, oh, she's gonna have a sister. I grew up having a sister, so I started having some worries about like sibling rivalry. But I think it happens with brothers and sisters too. But I think I have noticed like sisters go at each other quite a lot. But it was definitely something that I worried about a little bit from the get-go there, but I got really excited and I was just so happy that she was healthy. But it definitely wasn't the way that I wanted to find out the sex, so I ended up kind of knowing the sex throughout most of the pregnancy. However, I didn't announce it to family. I only told my husband, and I didn't announce it on YouTube. Right, baby number 3 comes around and I'm like, I am not finding out the sex of this baby. I'm going to make it so certain. And he actually was our surprise baby, finally. So we go to the ultrasound. I tell this doctor the same thing. She actually ended up calling him a she by the end of it too, but she was really good about telling me to look away. I had absolutely no desire to look at the genital area. Now on to the conclusion of this video. Did I think it was worth the wait?
Our little boy.
There was just kind of a lot going on, and it all happened so fast that like the gender didn't really pop into my mind. I just like grabbed him off the floor because I was worried why he wasn't crying, so I just grabbed him off the floor, and then I was holding him and stimulating him because I wanted to hear that cry, but he was just quite relaxed after the birth. I was just having like a mom instinct moment, so I didn't really notice. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's time to see if he's a boy. And then like I looked and then I said, boy, you know, and my midwife was kind of surprised and my husband was just laughing and ecstatic. So I was just so mesmerized by the fact that there was this like baby, and like I had all these crazy instincts and hormones, and I was just so in love with this person that him being a boy just really wasn't a big deal to me at all. It was just like, he's perfect baby. It really took quite a long time for the fact that I have a son to actually sink in, because to me, the birth and the hormones, like the love hormones, it's just all you care about is like how amazing this little person is. To be honest, that like the sex of the baby is just like, who cares? So my conclusion is, if I had to be honest, if I were to have a 4th child, I would not wait to find out the sex. And the reason being is I feel like in the pregnancy, it gives you sort of like a midway milestone and something to be excited about and plan. You know, pregnancy is so long, it's so hard. It's quite a nice little reward to feel like you get to know a little something about the person before they arrive. Not that the sex of the person totally indicates, you know, the personality or who this person is going to be as an individual. It just gives you a little idea as to what's to come. And I think that if I were to have a fourth, I would just go ahead and find out. And I think that having like a little party is super cute and fun. I definitely think it just makes the pregnancy a little bit more exciting and go by a little bit faster, because from my experience, and maybe your experience was totally different, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear what your opinions are. Maybe for some of you, finding out the sex at the birth was like everything. But to me, when my babies were born, it was just all about like them being healthy, and my hormones just really took over. So that's my experience with finding out, not finding out, and kind of finding out. I know it's something so simple, but it is kind of a hard decision to make, because it just seems kind of like it would be exciting to wait, but at the same time, it just seems really exciting to plan and get organized. What do you guys prefer? Leave it in the comments below. If you are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you are interested in more topics such as this, or if you are interested in just learning more about our family. We are also a plant-based family, as well as I live in Europe. As you can tell from my accent, I am American, but I live in Germany, so if you're interested in learning more about different cultures, go ahead and join the family. We would love to have you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye!